I might be just repeating myself, but I think, the idea of acceptance, I think along the way the difficulty is to discern, in a sense, what is the thing that's out of our control, or what is that we fall back into this kind of self-deception or desires, whatever.
Can you say your question again, Denny? Acceptance?
Right. It's almost like the emotion doesn't belong to us, the desire doesn't belong to us, so I just have to wait and see how things unfold. But then, because, we're very cunning, we self-deceive. So we can accept in the wrong way, isn't it?
Let me kind of throw a disclaimer out there. First, I can't say for sure I understand anybody's questions fully.
Mm-hmm.
In every question, for some strange reason, I only hear some keywords and I only pay attention to them. The intentions behind the questions, I don't know. I don't even think that most people understand the questions that they ask. I think things are a little foggy, jumbled up. They have... something about them has been disrupted. We may not know what it is, but the question comes out, okay? Let me just focus on the word acceptance for a moment, okay? And I'm going to use, just to kind of, in Attar, acceptance is one of the last stations of your spiritual quest. It's really, really way up there, okay? But I don't want to talk about esoteric or mystical or spiritual things. Let me just kind of talk about simple things, and yet still in their simplicity they're very complex. And I'm going to borrow Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, okay? Just to demonstrate to you how difficult acceptance is, okay? And I think it's important, especially these days, since it's in every book, it's in every YouTube show, that people should just accept, and acceptance this and acceptance that, as if it's easy. Despite my shoulder being the way it is, I still work. And after work, physical labor, like a donkey. And at night, I can't sleep. I haven't yet accepted the fact that my body is ill. I should give it rest. I fight against it. And I fight against it because I have had this image of myself for the past 55 years as a profoundly strong and a healthy man. The idea that now my shoulder is getting in the way of me working, doing things that I really, really enjoy, for me, it's unacceptable. And I can tell you there are moments where I say, I am willing to destroy my body. I am willing to do that, so I could continue that image of myself as being strong and healthy. I'm not going to let my body stand in the way of me fulfilling my desire, which is fixing the backyard, for example. Okay. There is real pain. I can't sleep. I can't lift my arm too high. I can't write on the board when I go to the classroom. I can't even wear my jacket or take my jacket off without experiencing great amounts of pain. Despite all of that, I refuse to accept. If I was to go to the doctor and the doctor was to tell me I have cancer, and it's something we've talked about plenty of times, I apologize for saying it again. And the doctor says, Amir, you have stage 4 cancer. I'm not going to say, thank you very much, this is such a great news. I'm going to say, no, it can't happen to me. My father's 90. I have to outlive my father at least by a few years. I can't die before him. I'm going to deny, his diagnosis. I'm going to ask for a second opinion, maybe a third, maybe a fourth. I refuse to accept that I have cancer, I'm going to die. It's not happening. I will deny it. Let's just say that you say to me, this is hypothetical, Amir, I want to be like Mother Teresa. I say, Genning, what the hell are you talking about? You're like 27. You don't need to be Mother Teresa. What you really want is a husband. What you really want is a family. No, I want to be like Mother Teresa. Genning, I know you may have some difficulties, with intimacy and all that stuff, getting to know people, relationship and all that. But you don't really want Mother Teresa. What you really want is just go out there and date. No! I'm telling you, this is the fact of your life, woman. You need a man. But you deny that. And all of us are in that business. No one is exempt. No one wants to be told that they are sick. No one wants to be told that they're stupid. No one wants to be told that they've made lots of mistakes. None of us enjoy those things, so we deny and deny and deny. There comes a point where I just can't deny the fact that I have cancer because I can't walk. I can't eat. And it's going to make me really, really angry. My wife should have made an appointment for me. Why didn't she? Maybe she doesn't love me. How could I be so stupid as to miss all of my doctor appointments? What's wrong with God? Can't He see how great of a human being I am? My kids, am I not going to live long enough to see them get married? Do I really want to leave this beautiful house for my wife and my kids? No, I want to take this house with me. These are reasons for me to become angry, and I have a right to be angry. And then there comes a point where I say, and I whisper this, let me sit, close my eyes, and there's that woman, Shakti Gwan or Shakti Gwain, visualization. I'm going to visualize the cancer going all the way to the moon and never coming back down. All these ridiculous things that people do. Not all the time, but when it comes from her, it's ridiculous. Right? And then while I'm sitting and visualizing and praying and meditating, and I feel like drops of tears coming here and there, and I say, God, please, I know I have sinned. I am repenting now. You ought to listen to my repentance. I'll be a really, really good boy from now on. There is no response from God. There comes a point where, her father, Emmanuel, there came a point where he was just really, really sad, very depressed. I don't have the energy to deny anymore. I don't have the energy to be angry anymore. And I don't have the energy to bargain with God or God's creatures anymore. I'm just tired. I get really, really depressed. I feel alone, helpless. Do you know how difficult it is getting? I mean, you can't really imagine it unless it's something, an industry you worked in. You have so much autonomy, physical autonomy. You walk, you shower, you bath, you wash your hair, you drive your car. And when I'm told that I have stage 4 cancer and I'm just laying in my bed, there is nothing I can do. It's such a depressing place to be in life. To feel so isolated and so alone that even God abandons you. I mean, you thought it was only Jesus saying, why have thou forsaken me? And then, I don't know how it happens. After many inner and outer battles, you can just say, I accept. Thy will be done. And if you are able to get to the stage of acceptance 2 months before you die, then in many ways it could be a blessing to your surrounding environment. You can leave your kids 2 months of you being such a hero. If it happens just before you die, you don't really leave them much. But the point is, you had to go through all these different stages to get to a place where you say, thy will be done. But before that, conflicts, doubts, fears, angers, rage, they won't leave you alone. When I think parents divorce, or when you have suffered a loss that you could have avoided, for example, you go through so much inner dialogue, and most of it is so violent, judgmental, punishing. It just wears you out psychologically. I should have, I could have, how could you? You're so stupid. And there comes a point where you say, I made a mistake. There is no going back. I can't fix it. If he wants to leave, fine. If he stays, fine. It's no longer in my power. There are so many pieces of this puzzle that we are missing. I think all of us have a few pieces here and there and they don't even match properly. And it really just takes us 50, 60, 70, 80 years to figure out how best to put these pieces together. You know, you can just hope or pray that you haven't made too many big mistakes in life. You know, and if I was to speak candidly, you know, since all of us are friends, you know, I think if you happen to be a woman from those age ranges, you know, 24, 25, 26, about 40, 41, 42. Your desire for physical stability, your desire for a companion, your desire for a family, your desire for money, they really take the center stage. They really, really, really do. You know, you could dismiss them once in a while, but for the most part, they are there. And there is no reason to deny their forces. You know, I think the best that one can do is say, okay, I am at this age. I hope to find a companion with whom I can speak the same language. If not, I hope at least they don't have a vicious mouth, a vicious personality, and they can kind of just leave me alone 2-3 hours a day where I can just attend to the things I'm most passionate about. You know. You know, it's something I've talked about, and it's really not about me at all, but I mean, I was just very lucky. First, because I was like very young. I was a young kid, and I was not contaminated in any way. You know, I didn't have any traumas. I'm just a stupid kid, just doing stupid things that I consider to be fun. And because I'm a man, I am just born to be uncivilized. And this path, the way it was presented to me, it really fit my temperament well, because it made my wandering nature very welcomed. You know, I knew that I was not going to stay in any of my relationships. I couldn't see myself in any of them. I'd accepted that. You know, when it's kind of like what we talked about in Attar. If you have a soul or a spirit whose nature is to be a wanderer, it finds it very difficult to occupy a physical body that desires stability. It doesn't work that way. You know, it will do whatever it possibly can to sabotage any stability you have, so you could continue just wandering about. And there is something to be said about, you know, Freud's insight about this, that there is something inside us that destroys civility, destroys stability, destroys calmness. You know. sort of a death wish. You build this house, it took you 10 years. It's kind of like what the Buddhists do with Mandala. They put on a great show. They rent Zellerbach Theater in Berkeley for like 2 weeks. They build this great sand mandala. It's beautiful. And then they find someone from the audience and they say, okay, just walk all over it. Really? You guys spend like 20 hours a day for the past like month creating this. And now you want me to like destroy it? The answer is yes. Why? Attachment holds you hostage. It is true. Beauty lives in mandala. Time lives in mandala. Energy lives in mandala. Passion, ambition, all that stuff, they all need to be destroyed. Nothing down here can hold me hostage. It's a great place to be. But you have to accept your nature, and that takes a long, long time. There is this poem, I'm not quite sure who the poem is by. دلم در عاشقی آواره شد آواره تر بادا. That my heart fell in love, and in love it became a wanderer. It became homeless. If that is what the gods want, let me become more of a wanderer. Let me become more homeless. تنم از بیدلی بیچاره شد بیچاره تر بادا. That my body has simply become a corpse because my soul doesn't live in it. And where do you take your body if it has no passion in it? And bichara means someone who has no hope, someone for whom there is no remedy. And he says, if this is what the gods want, let me become more sick. دل من پاره گشت از غم نزن گونه که به گردد. My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces due to sorrow. A sorrow that just can't be cured. اگر جانان چنین خواهد یارب پاره تر بادا. If this is what the gods want for me, if my heart has been shattered into 1,000 pieces, let it be shattered into 10,000 pieces. اگر زاهد دعای خیر میگویی مرا اینگو. If you want to say a prayer for me, this should be your prayer. که آن آواره کوی بوتان آواره تر بادا. That wanderer who is questing for beauty, let him become more of a wanderer. Let him become more hopeless. Let him become more shattered. It's a great place of acceptance, where you have recognized who you are and your quest. You know what you want. You know what you're passionate about. And you also know the price you have to pay for that passion. And you're more than willing to pay the price. Persian poetry, you can't find anything like it. You know, it's amazing. If I had known what I know now about Persian poetry beginning, I would have translated and given commentary to Rumi, to Baba Tahir, you know, but it's a little too late for all that.